Hi everyone, welcome in. I'm working on a pink mitten tonight. This is Jen S's pattern. This is for an adult. You start out by chaining 41 and then alternating rows 1 and 2 until you reach 20 rows. We're waiting on the winter storm to happen. It's supposed to start snowing here around midnight. 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18. Just gonna count. I need 22 half double crochets. We do 3 slip stitches the top of the mitten, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 22 half double crochets. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21. Okay, one more. And then we do right here, slip stitch the last 15 stitches, the cuff end. This is the cuff. There's 8, there's 9, 10, 11. Let me count that right again, because it should be 15 slip stitches. Just to make sure. 2, 3. Okay, so I miscounted. So we're okay. 15. Hello. Oh, I had a good day. How did you? How was your day? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you guys. Welcome in. We're just waiting on the snowstorm here and doing a little crochet, doing some mittens. So this is the cuff end, just like this. So we do single crochets back up toward the mitten, do 15, just like the pattern here. Where are we at? Oh, up here. Single crochet 15 stitches, and then half double crochet for 22 stitches, slip stitch the last 3 at the top of the mitten before chaining 1 and turning, and then go to your row 2. You just alternate these back and forth until you have 20 rows total, ending on the last row, row 2, at the cuff. And then you do not fasten off. So that's what we're working on. Got about 12 rows here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, thank you so much. That's very sweet. You're so kind. So we're doing single crochets back up. Oh, hello. Hi, Carrie. Welcome in. Are you guys getting ready for the snowstorm? I hope everyone's in their homes and nice and warm and cozy. Don't have to go anywhere tomorrow. I'm supposed to work at the hospital starting tomorrow night, the next 3 nights. I don't know if that'll happen, but that is the plan right now. I called the hospital to ask them if they could help me with the ride, security, maybe, because my old hospital years ago used to do that. They'd come and pick you up, but this hospital does not. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work out for me tomorrow or the next day. So we're doing 15 single crochets. Let me count. 13. 14, 15. Okay. Now we're going to our half double crochets for 22 stitches. I finished one of the pink mittens here. So, I gotta tuck this little guy in here. Anyway, I did that earlier. We're doing back loop only. 7 half double crochet. 8. 10. Hey, how's your oh, let me read the comments. Oh, good. Good, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. Watch the snow from the window. How's your scarf going? Weren't you working on a scarf? So I tried macarons today for the second time, and it was a fail. I just don't have that quite down. I'm sure it's my technique and measuring properly and all the things. So I'm gonna keep trying until I get it. I think it takes a little bit of finesse to figure those out. But I like them, and I think it'd be fun to learn how to do those. Especially with the different flavors and the colors. They're so pretty. Let me just count that to make sure we're good. 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Whoa, what? Oh, yeah. And then 3 slip stitches. Okay. You finished 8.5 squares. There's going to be 12, 13 of 8. Okay, so halfway done with it. Good for you. Good for you. I'm sure that'll keep you busy while you're off school. I just had the news on. It's just saying the same things. But I know we're starting to get snow in where I'm from, in the state we're from. And then you go back down 3 slip stitches and then 22 half double crochets back down the mitten. Who's gonna go out tomorrow and play in the snow? Is there anybody out there? I know my little granddaughter is excited. They bought a sled and everything. Then you do 15 slip stitches in the last, down here in the cuff part. Two, 7. I hope it's packing snow. 8. We can build snowmen out of them and snow forts. Count them again. missed a stitch somewhere. That's, I must have done it in the previous row. Okay, let me count again just to see. 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, 14. I sure did. Shucks. Where did I miss it? All right. Here I go. Hello. Welcome in. I miscounted. Usually try to count. That helps me, but my big mouth was talking. So I miscounted somewhere. Let's see what we got here on this row. 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, 20, 22. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 10. Oh. Okay, I'm okay on this one. I don't know about you guys, but our furnace has been running non-stop. I was trying to figure out, my little granddaughter, her favorite color is green. And I was trying to figure out a little mitten for her. So I was just kind of playing around with this less stitches, you know. And I like the color. I think she'll like it too. But I'm going to make a little mitten. Just a little, for her little hand. We'll see how that goes. I'm just using, for this one, it's like a 4mm. I don't know if Jen has a pattern. She may, for a child mitten. Three slip stitches. Then I'm going to count 22 half double crochets. 1, 2, 6, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22. Okay, now 15 slip stitches. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 18. Here's the 15. Then you chain 1 and turn your work. This is the cuff end. This is the mitten part. So we're going to do single crochets back toward the mitten. 15 of them. Hello, Norma. Welcome in. Thanks, guys, for being here. Single crochets back up toward the mitten. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Hi. Welcome in. We're just doing a crocheted mitten, just like this one. I finished that earlier today. We're going back up the mitten with half double crochets, 22 in total. Oh my gosh, -5. You know, it's going to be negative degrees all week. Did you see that? It's the coldest I've seen in a long time. Consistently, you know, like that. That's the temperatures it was when I was a kid, and it was safe to, you know, to skate on some bodies of water because it was negative degrees for so long. And then they didn't recommend that, you know, don't step on a pond because it could crack through and all that. But yeah, it's the coldest I've seen in a long time. do 3 slip stitches here into these last 3 stitches. This is the top part of the mitten that you'll cinch off eventually. Then you chain 1 and turn your work. They could have, oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Carrie. It is covering a lot. Many, many states. Yeah, the ice looks so crazy, like how much ice some states are getting. I mean, you can't do anything on ice. Just better stay home and wait it out. Hello. That was the one out of a couple of times I've had to stay at the hospital. It was an ice storm that, I mean, we couldn't travel home, from the hospital, so we had to stay overnight. See, I just double check because sometimes I lose count. I need 22 half double crochets. And then when you're going toward the cuff, you do slip stitches. When you go back up toward the mitten, you do single crochets. And the rest here is half double crochets and slip stitches. So it's a real simple pattern, repetitive. When you go up, of course, single crochet. When you go down to the cuff, it's slip stitch. And that makes the cuff more stretchy like that. I'm doing a mitten, just like this one. Just doing the match to it tonight. This is looks like on. You could flip the cuff down if you want, or leave it up. It's nice and roomy. Fits either side. This is not my pattern. It's this lady's. Jen S is her handle on a different platform. But I printed this off. It's very simple, easy pattern if you are a crocheter. I need to trim my little tails. But you're working, when you sew it up, it's going to be inside out. So once you get it sewed up and everything, then you're going to flip it right side out. And then this is what it looks like. Once it's cinched up and the thumb is cinched up. Carrie, I feel like if you're nonstop with it, a couple of hours. If you're very fast at crocheting, it might take you less than that. I put mine down and then I pick it back up. Put it down. I have to go do things and then I, put my crochet away. When I was a kid, we'd have mittens like this, and I'd be out playing all day long, and they'd get wet, and freeze. Like snow would be clumped on it. You'd have to dry them out on the register. Back then, this is kind of what we had. Now they have the slick stuff on the outside where it protects it from getting wet. Sourdough bread. I should make some. That sounds really good. And then you're going to go back up toward the mitten part, and this is single crochets going back up. We're doing 15. I'll show you the hat that I'm making these for. I'll lose my spot. 3. Okay. So I made a hat like this. And I thought it would look cute. This is the hat and the mitten. And then the other one, I made this beanie hat with the purple and the variegated. This is called Easter, the color. And then I just made solid mittens to match this part. I just need to find who I want to donate these to. There's a women's shelter in our area, and I thought about dropping them off up there. I think it's 15, 2, 4, 6, 12, 14, 15. Yeah. Oh, you work really fast. Maybe. Wow. Oh, wow. Good for you. I bet you're really fast. That's amazing. Oh my goodness, you made a beanie in an hour. That's cool. Is it similar to this pattern here, where it's repetitive? These are half double crochets, or is it something different? That's pretty quick. You can whip them out fast. It's basically the same. I use a little bit. Oh yeah, yeah, that will help. But that's pretty good. An hour. That's amazing. Have you ever thought about doing a little side business? Selling your beanies? I know people do that on different platforms. The Big E is one of them. Oh, enemy cats. Oh. Oh, right. I know. There's only so much time in a day, huh? Schoolwork, and if you have a regular job or chores, that takes up a lot of time. That's nice, though, helping people. I feel like that's so important to give back. And then the last three are slip stitches here at the top of the mitten. Let's see, did I get the... There we go. Okay. And then you chain one and turn your work. And I need 20 rows. So you don't count the original chain. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay. We're getting there. So you're gonna go back down your mitten. These are slip stitches, 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, and then 22 half double crochets. There's 10. Twenty-two. And the last 15 are slip stitches. You try to leave them a little bit loose if you can, just a little. So when you're coming back up, doing your single crochets aren't as difficult, because the stitches are tight sometimes when you're coming back up. I made those gray mittens over the last few days, and I wore them today, and they kept me warm. I was out in the cold. I actually was on my way back from a little girl's birthday party, and I saw this old lady walking down the street, and it was dark, and she had a cane and her purse, and I was like, what in the world? She's walking down the street toward town. So I pulled over, and I don't make a habit or anything of picking people up. Definitely not. I mean, usually not. But she looked so cold and walking with a cane, and I was like, oh, nobody was around her. So I had to stop and make sure she was okay, and took her up the road. She said she couldn't get a ride to the store. I was like, my gracious, it's too cold to be walking out here. And she was so grateful. But I tell you, she walked several blocks. When I got her, she had walked several. I don't even know how many, but it was several streets up that I was able to get her back to her apartment and make sure she got in there safely. But she was up there in years. I couldn't believe it. And she was with it. She was oriented. She just said she couldn't get a ride to the store, and she was just gonna try to walk herself. Normally I wouldn't pick people up, but in this frigid temperature where we're at, and being elderly, she looked elderly. I couldn't, in my heart, I couldn't pass her up and just not try to, not help. She was so thankful, so grateful. It's like, oh my gosh. I felt bad for her. It's funny how God places you exactly where you need to be. We just came back from that party, and my daughter and son-in-law dropped me off to get my car, and just perfect timing. Come around the corner, and there she was walking down the road. And then your last 3 slip stitches. Chain 1 and turn your work. And you just go back down the mitten just like you came up. You're going to do your slip stitches, half double crochets, and your slip stitches down here. Three. Hi, Marie. Hey, welcome out. Welcome in. Nine, 10. We're doing half double crochets. We do 22 of them down, back down the mitten. 12, 13, 14, okay, let me count just to make sure. 22. Okay. And then your 15 slip stitches. "30 states, Carrie. You were saying it was many." We're getting close. We need 20 rows. And then we're going back up toward the mitten. So single crochet in the cuff. Doing 15. Okay, now we start our half double crochets. See what a simple pattern this is? You guys can do this. I'm going to make some child mittens. Just need to figure it out. How many less stitches I need to work with. Oops. Okay, let me just count again. Those stitches are kind of tight in there. Okay. Should be good. One more row, I think. Chain one and turn. Make sure I got that too. Okay, let's see what we got. All right, we ended at the cuff, just what she said to do. Do not fasten off. So in the current row that you're working on, count down from the top of the mitten and mark the 19th stitch with a stitch marker, leaving the remaining 21 stitches to work on from the cuff end up. So we need a stitch marker on the 19th stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So the 19th, we're going to mark. Okay. Just double check. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm just going to go underneath both loops there. Okay. Now we're going to begin the formation of the thumb. So we single crochet into the first 15 up the cuff toward the stitch marker. And then we'll half double crochet in the next 6 after that. Then we'll make our chain 11 for the thumb. Single crochet like we've done the whole time, back up toward the mitten. Second stitch here from the hook. So that's the one where the yarn's coming out. You don't want to go in that one. You go into the second chain here. Then you do a single crochet. Done 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 11, 13, 14, 15. So the next 6, do half double crochets. 2, 3. Back loop only again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to chain 11, independent from the mitten, creating the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then you're going to turn, working in the back loop, down the chain. We're going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook and slip stitch into the next stitch. So second loop from the chain, or from the hook, should be this one, right here. Slip stitch, and then repeat that again, and then in the next chain, back loop only, so 2 slip stitches. Then you're going to half double crochet into the next 8 stitches here, chains, and in the next 6 when the chain reconnects to the mitten row. We're going to do 8 first. You can turn it like this so you can see the back loop. Half double crochet, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. We're going to do the same thing into the next 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're doing 15 slip stitches like we've been doing all these other rows. Going down toward the cuff, you do slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14, 15. Then you chain one and turn your work. So since we're going back up toward the mitten, stitch marker thumb here, we're going to do single crochets like we have been. Going to do 15. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then you do half double crochet into the next 14, going up the thumb. One, 2, 3, 6, and 14, and then slip stitch into the last 2 stitches. Flip it a little bit so you can see the back loops here where you're on. Then you chain 1, and then you're going to go back down the thumb. So you turn your work. And we're on right here. It says row 23. Slip stitch into the first 2 stitches. Then you're going to do half double crochet into the next 14 stitches. Slip stitch into the last 15 stitches. And then chain 1, turn your work. You're going to repeat those rows until you have 28 rows total. And then you can sew it up after that. Here's your slip stitches. And then half doubles. Hello, everybody. Sorry I wasn't reading comments. I was focusing on these rows here. But welcome in and thank you for being here. I'm just working on a mitten. If you're new here, thanks for being here. I'm just finishing this pink mitten. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then you're doing your slip stitches into the last 15 stitches. When you go down toward the cuff, you do slip stitches. One, two, 15. I'm going to chain one and turn my work. Let's count here. I need 28 rows. Okay, not quite there yet. Hello, we're making a mitten. A mitten to match this one. Okay, when we go back toward the mitten, we do single crochets. In this case, we're going toward the thumb, but when we go back up away from the cuff, we do single crochets. When we go toward the cuff, it's slip stitches. There's one, there's two, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Eleven, 12, 15. Then we're doing half double crochets into the next 14 stitches. And then the last two at the top of the thumb, you're going to slip stitch that little one. Oh, there. That was easier than I thought. And then you chain one and turn your work. And then you slip stitch the first two. And again, you go back down, half double crochet for 14, and then slip stitches for 15. In your back loop only. Okay, let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 18, 22, 24, 26. Okay, we need 28. We need 2 more rows up and back, and then we'll be ready to sew it together. It's coming together nicely. Chain 1, turn your work. Okay, single crochets into the next 15 stitches. Two, three, There's 15. Then half double crochet into the next 14 stitches. 1, 2. And then you slip stitch the last 2. Chain 1 and turn your work, and you start with the 2 slip stitches that you just finished with. Kind of go back down the hill as you came up it. Doing your 14 half double crochets. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then your last 15 will be slip stitches. 2. Okay. Twenty-eight rows. Then you want to slip knot and leave a tail that's 2 to 3 times the length of the mitten to sew it up. So we'll cut it right here. So you're just going to go through the loop and tie this off to make it a knot. using the stitch marker you placed in the body of the mitten previously. While leaving it in place, loop it through the inside and the outside edge of the thumb in the 10th stitch down from the top of the thumb on both sides. So we're going to count down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gonna hook that one together with the other side. These are kind of tough to count. I just try to count the loop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do the best you can. Sometimes you can line it up too. Just make sure. Just through the proper loop. What you're doing is you're matching it up so you can sew it together. But you can't really mess up. I mean, if you start sewing out like that, you know, it's one thing. But if you can just get it to match up as best you can, you know, where you're sewing through, you can't really mess that up. And if you do, you can just pull it back out and start again. So what we're going to do is when you start sewing, you're going to sew the cuff on up here to where you get to that stitch marker, and that's this part of the thumb. So you want to make sure that's stitched real good. Sometimes I do double and triple in that area, and then you go up this edge, finishing off the mitten part, and then you'll tie it off, cinch that top together, and then you'll use your remaining yarn, put it back in the needle, and you'll finish your thumb part the rest of the way up, and then you'll cinch this. If that makes sense. Hello. Welcome in. Good evening. So again, we're going to just do the cuff part, matching up the stitches best we can. Sew up to the crook of the thumb and reinforcing that area. And then we go up the mitten, finish the mitten off, cinch this part closed, and then thread your needle with your yarn again. Go up from the crook of the thumb, all the way up, cinching this closed. Now this will be the inside, so we'll flip it out eventually, but this is going to be on the inside once you cinch it off and everything. Okay, so it kind of looks sort of like it's going upward, and that's okay. You'll sew it together, it'll be fine. It looks like maybe you haven't added enough stitches, but I promise it's going to be fine. Once you sew it together, this is what it's going to look like. See, it sort of goes diagonal, like that. And then in the crook of the thumb, I think it's an extra piece there, a little tail that I need to clip, but if you can reinforce this area, sometimes there's a little hole there that I've missed, and you just flip it inside out again, where you're working on the inside. And you just take some yarn, reinforce it a little bit more, sew it up, and then flip it back to make sure you got the hole closed and it looks okay. That's just some of the things that I've done where I needed to go back and work on it a little bit. Okay, let's get to sewing. So here's my tail. Okay, I am older, so I have a hard time seeing and threading. This little thing makes it so easy to thread your needles, but this bigger one, it helps too with the thread. Oh shoot, the yarn helps to thread your needle with yarn like this. If you've ever, or if you've not used one of these, you may not need it if you're young, but if you're older, it sure comes in handy. That's all you do. Okay, and then you just leave a little, extra piece there. And then you start sewing up your mitten. I'm going to try to reinforce this end here, this cuff. It's coming around. I might do it a couple times. There's no wrong way. If you want to reinforce it 2 or 3 times, it's fine. How'd you get a knot in there already? Rascal. These are just whip stitches. Oops, sorry about that. I just try to match this up as best I can. The crook is the one I reinforce a little bit extra. Crook of the thumb. You should just do the best you can. If you find that you need to add more, just add more. Add more stitches there. that's not enough, I'll come back and do more. And then, so once you do the crook of the thumb, just reinforce it extra there. And then you just go back up and finish your mitten top. And if it doesn't match up, kind of stretch it a little bit and you can get it to match up. Just like that. You can put little stitch markers down there if you want to, just to kind of hold it in place, or you can just hold it as you go. And this is where you cinch it off. I usually have more yarn than this to work with. Actually, a lot more. But I'll see how far I can get around. I usually go in the ridges. Yeah, I may not make it. I may have to cut another piece of yarn. Let's see. Oh, shucks. Well, if I had enough, I'll show you. This is, you just pull it, you cinch it, and it cinches right together. Let me find the piece here. Then I'll just cut another piece of yarn. That's fine. I may just tie this off so it's a knot and it doesn't come undone. There we go. Here's my needle threader again. I'm gonna use this for my yarn. Okay. Let me start over here. You just go into the ridges, the top. Okay, then when you pull it, this is the one I left, the tail I left on it. And you can pull them together and you can cinch it up tight. And you can just knot it off right there. And do a double knot. And then I just reinforce a little bit. I'll go back through the top. back through the top. You can do that a couple times if you want to. Maybe like across and then across this way, just so you know it doesn't come undone. And then I'll take another piece of yarn across from it and just tie it again in a couple knots. And then you can take this yarn and, like, obviously we'll cut it off, but you can take these strands and then just go down through the loops and pull it down through to tuck them in. Usually I only end up with 2 strands here that need tucked in, but I have an extra, so that's okay. We'll figure that out later. I'll finish this so you can at least see. Take this out, and then you just sew up your thumb. I might start from the crook again to tie it off. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The camera's so low down here. I keep bumping it. And then you just do the same thing. You just match up your stitches here across from each other. I'm going to try to tuck that little tail there in. Usually it goes quicker than this. Once you get the hang of it. I like to reinforce. Sometimes I'll add a couple extra stitches in there. Then you can do that. To close up your thumb, you can do the same thing. Just go under the ridges at the top with that same yarn that you're using. And then you can just cinch it. And then you can just knot it off. If you want to do it a second time, that's okay. You can do that a second time. And then when you clip it, you can tuck it again the same way. Once you've tucked all your little tails in, then you can flip it. Making sure everything looks good, and you don't need to reinforce that little, the crook of the thumb. If you do, if you got a gap or anything, you can just flip it back and then just sew it a little bit more. But there you go. It can go on the right hand, it can go on the left hand. And here's the other one to match. And obviously that tail, I need to tuck that one in. But that's what they look like. All finished. Nice and warm. They go up past your wrist a little bit. You could cuff them if you want. And then you could make a beanie hat to match it if you want to. This is again Jen S, her pattern for the beanie hat and the mittens. She's a great teacher. But it's very simple pattern. If you guys are interested. And then the other ones that I made. If you guys are new in here and didn't see this, I made these not too long ago. These match, well, both hats, but the purple one I made with the mittens. I was on a roll with hats recently. I made this one. This little one at Christmas time. I made this pom-pom the old-fashioned way we used to make them as kids in the 70s, 80s, with a cardboard cutout. Looks like a donut. So I made it myself, and then this is a little different stitch. I made the brim and then connected it to the top. And I think this is from post double crochet, back post double on this one. And then this was just something I was kind of messing around. I incorporated some like Valentine Day colors, extra yarn I had. So just seeing what that would look like. It's half and half. And then I made the sage green and the off-white color. And then just another, this is a different pattern. This is a Christmas hat. Anyway, it's just fun. If you guys love to crochet, or if you like to do things with your hands, and always have to be doing something. So that's why I like crochet, and plus it's relaxing. It's just, you know, when you've had a busy day or stressful day, you can always go back to your crochet and it helps you relax. There's some other things I've been working on. This is a shell stitch. If you guys are familiar with this type of stitch. And some other ones. This is a waffle stitch, which is one of my favorite stitches to do. And then the ripple stitch. I don't know, it's just fun, you know. Fun learning. I love to learn different things, different patterns. Something challenging. I'm all about it. Like I like to, I don't know, figure things out like that. Intrigues me, so I kind of get obsessed with it until I figure it out. And then once I figure it out, then I move on to another pattern or something different. A blanket or, you know, like these mittens. Jen is Jen S on the other platform, TT. I always talk about her because she's such a great teacher. And she's who taught me how to do these. The beanie and the hat and the mittens. And this is her pattern. So if anybody is interested, you want to look at it, or if you want to screenshot it, you'll at least know how to look her up. And this is such a simple pattern. So it's half double crochets and slip stitches. Pretty simple. But anyway, it's just fun. It's fun. If you guys have any questions or are interested in seeing something different, just let me know. I'm on a beanie hat and mitten kick right now. And then I have a waffle blanket that I have to finish. It's a fall blanket, fall colors. And I need to get white. Well, it's kind of like just a touch off white, but it's real thick yarn that Hobby Lobby has not had, so I need to get some more of that to finish it. But if you guys have questions, I'll try to be on live over the storm periodically, so hope I see you, and I appreciate you being here with me, going through the mitten with me. And I am going to get off and go to bed, and I may see you bright and early in the morning. Stay safe, you guys, with that storm coming. and I will see you all real soon. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.